Good afternoon and welcome to our quarterly BusinessWorks professional development program for the creative sector. I'm Jackie Atchison, Executive Director for the Arts Council for Monterey County. We have a great program for you today with two local artists that have been sharing and selling their artwork online long before the pandemic struck. With galleries and museums closed, we know this is a tough time for artists to showcase their art. Our two presenters today, Beau Frank and Scott Lawrence Jacobs, are going to share their methods of promoting and selling their artwork online. With the shelter in place, this is a perfect time for artists to create or enhance their websites and get more active on social media. So we really hope you learned something new today. And if you have any questions, please enter them in the chat box and we'll try to answer as many as possible after the presentation. So our first presenter today is Scott Jacobs. Scott became a sensation in the art world after painting an image of Barack Obama titled "Someday Has Come," just days before the then senator was elected the first African-American president in the country's history. He was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and is the nephew of Daniel Chester French, the designer of the Lincoln Memorial. Scott has been painting since he was 3 years old and is mostly a self-taught artist. After he graduated from Hartford College Art while still attending high school. I'd really like to hear more about that. Scott joined the U.S. Navy at age 20 and was commissioned for the Navy's Mural Battalion in Africa. After completing his time in the Navy, he decided to pursue his passion of art as his career path. Scott has his own gallery in Carmel on Mission Street between 5th and 6th Street inside the courtyard. Please welcome Scott Jacobs.
Hi, I'm Scott Jacobs, artist here in Carmel by the Sea. I've had my gallery here for the last 8 years, and I've been at the location I'm at for the last 2. And I just want to thank you guys for having me on here. And it's a pleasure, and it's good to connect with people, especially right now with everything going on. And yeah, it's kind of funny you guys asked me to do this because I've always been more of a in-person kind of person, kind of old school, and I like talking with people, and I like having my studio in my gallery so I can talk with people when they come in. And so that's always been probably my number one form of marketing is just painting, and painting where people can see it. The Barack Obama one was done, I finished that on Main Street in Ventura. And so I had all kinds of people driving by and seeing it, and helped out quite a bit. But yeah, these last few years, I have focused quite a bit on the internet and how to market my work, and on social media and everything. And so as far as social media goes, I have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and last night I set up a TikTok. And so that kind of, it was kind of fun. I thought it was going to be kind of quick making a video, and I turned around, it was like 12:30 in the morning. And I was like, all right, it's time to go to bed, put this thing on. But I'd say out of, all those venues or ways to show my work, Facebook and Instagram are the top 2 that I show my work on consistently. I try to show my work or post a painting or something I'm working on once a day. For a while it was, just every few days, but with, COVID-19 shut down my gallery space, along with a lot of other people. And so from there, I was able, I started focusing more on my website and social media. Woman, Kelly Swift, helped me design my website, and she got on there. I use my website is through Wix, and I kind of I do all the, I upload everything now and kind of manage the site myself. And so it's been pretty easy to learn how to do that. And it takes me some patience sometimes, but it works out. And I'm trying to see, how do I person. Oh, so one thing that my girlfriend actually helped me out with is this right here, and it's a flyer, and it has my, it says find me on social media, and then it has my website on it, and then it also has a QR code, and I think most people are familiar with that now, but it's basically like a barcode, and someone can just wave their phone over it, and it'll take them right to my website, which is it's definitely handy right now with nobody wants to really touch anything. And so, and one of the things I'll do is I'll take this flyer and I'll go to different friends like restaurants or businesses, and I'll ask them if they don't mind putting it up. And most people are really receptive to that, especially in this area. And they've put them up, and so when somebody's getting coffee or waiting for their coffee, they might be able to check out the site. And so that's been helpful marketing. You know, some of the old school things that I used to do that I still do now is I'll bring my business cards around. I make kind of postcard size business cards, and wherever I'm at, if I'm like traveling or just in town, wherever, I'll see if someone like a business doesn't mind putting a few up, and occasionally I'll put them in magazines, like home magazines and whatnot. And so anyhow, let's see how much more I can really add to that. Is there anything else you want me to touch on, or?
I'd love to hear the story of how you graduated from college while in high school.
Oh, okay. It was actually, it was a high school program where you went to college. So it was Hartford College of Art, and I went for figurative drawing. And so in high school, they kind of already knew that I wasn't going to do anything else. So they asked me if I wanted to leave like halfway through the day and go to college. And so that's what I did. And I did a junior, senior year, and graduated from, or it's really like a program. So they give you a Hartford College of Art certificate. And right now I'm studying, majoring in psychology at MPC and Monterey Peninsula College, because I mostly paint people. And so I'm just interested in my subject. And so I'm having a blast up there. Highly recommend it to anybody who's thinking about it. They do a great job up there. They offer a lot of things, and all my teachers have been great. So,
Well, we see a lot of your art behind you because we understand you're in your gallery. Let's take a moment to look at your website.
sure.
I think Aaron's going to pull that up for us. You might want to just say a few words about that.
Yeah. So once again, a friend of mine, Kelly Swift, and her daughter Jessica helped me build the site. And you can reach her on Facebook if you're ever looking to have a website design. But so this is the cover page here. Kind of gives an introduction of, I work with two different mediums predominantly, watercolors and oils. And so my the different what you call them, portfolios or whatnot on the site that you can access are originals, prints, watercolors, and oils. I believe this is originals. And here's, I think this is prints. And so I mostly have my prints printed on watercolor paper, and they're usually 16 inch by 20 inch or 24 inch by 18 inch. And but the site itself, I've noticed, has been really helpful for people considering commissions. And so they'll go on here, and then I'll get a phone call, and they'll say, yeah, we were looking at your website, and we want to commission over our father, our daughter, and occasionally there'll be sales through it too. But it's really a good platform to for people to check out my work or revisit it after they've gone through the gallery.
Well, thank you. You have a beautiful website. Thank you for sharing it with us. Why don't you give the URL for that real quick?
Oh, that's scottjacobsgallery.com. And yeah, the one last thing I'd like to say is I think I said at the beginning is painting paintings. You know, like this is a tough time right now, and a lot of people are, you know, we're not we're isolated to an extent. So I think it's, you know, important if you're just kind of, you know, you're concerned about marketing or getting your work out, whatnot. It's always been helpful for me to just paint paintings and maybe get connected with other artists and just kind of inspire each other.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate that. So our next presenter is Beau Frank. Beau is an emerging artist on the rise. He's born in Southern California and now is based out of Pacific Grove. His paintings feature both figurative and landscape work inspired by nature and featured in his Off the Grid collection. His newest collection is appropriately titled Solitude and includes oil paintings on circle wood panels featuring figures and spaces that reflect their inner workings. Each series evolves and delves deeper into the people and places that shape him. Beau's artwork is currently represented by 19 Karen Gallery in Australia and Post Ranch in Big Sur. Welcome, Beau.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? So this is kind of a big deal to be able to talk to people directly, and especially doing it on an online platform. This is something that previously wasn't really available. You'd have to meet with people in person. You'd have to be in a physical space where people would have to attend at a certain time. And now, thanks to the internet, people can show up right now and then, and or watch it later as a recorded video. So the fact that we're using technology as a tool to be able to connect is a huge deal. And the fact that we're able to do this is pretty cool. So I guess to start off, this is all about selling your art online, all about connecting with audiences and being able to share your artwork, especially in different ways that previously were, you know, unable to be showcased. So in the old days, you'd have to be represented by a gallery. You'd have to have your art somewhere, you know, located in a shop or a business. And now you can take a photo of your artwork, post online, and now people from all over the world can watch it. This is a really interesting time, especially for artists. We're having to innovate. We're having to rely on our creative spirit to try new things, to, you know, break free from things like COVID. How do you adapt to something like this? How can you anticipate this? You can't, but what you do after that, that's all on you. So I've been showcasing my art in galleries for about 3 years, but I've been painting full-heartedly for about 5. The reason it's been only 3 years of showcasing in galleries is because trying to get into the gallery system was very difficult at first. If you're an emerging artist and you're just starting out and you're just learning how to paint or how to pursue something that you really love, just because you love doing it doesn't mean that people will respect it or necessarily want to buy it or want to see it. So at first you're just like stuck with your own thoughts. You're stuck with this thing that you now enjoy doing, which is your art. And now you're like, well, I'm having fun with this. Let's see if I can take it up to the next level. Let's see if I can start sharing this with others. Let's see if I can start saying that, yes, I am an artist, even if I'm not selling yet. So in the beginning, it's a lot of just relying on yourself and trying to see where this is going to take you. And for me, that took me to Instagram and also to creating my own website and to trying to showcase my artwork on different platforms online. How to do that? I would say for a lot of people that aren't technologically savvy, it's very scary. It's very intimidating. And so you just have to take a couple steps back, start being a beginner again, start being someone who's willing to learn a new skill, willing to try something, even if it's uncomfortable. And for me, that was learning how to maneuver a camera so I could take photographs, how to use video content, recording, documenting, time lapses, and then creating content that I could then share online with others. Being able to showcase that on a platform like Instagram, that was the biggest I guess, platform that I focus most of my attention on, I realized that a lot of people like being on their phone and a lot of people like scrolling and looking at art. And when I'd post photos of myself or my family, I'd get a few likes and no big deal. And then when I started sharing my artwork, people really started to pay more attention. People kept coming back on a religious basis. People started to get more invested in my art. So learning how to document my process, show how I take my pencils and do a sketch on the canvas, how I go in and do my first few layers, showing works in progresses, showing the final product, and then really being able to capture that finished piece on an image basis. A lot of people will never actually see your artwork in person. The first time they'll see your art is through a photograph or an image online. And so keeping that in mind is a great way to really start thinking about how can I really capture a high quality image of my painting. Once you have that high quality image, either getting it professionally photographed by someone. For instance, here in Carmel, there's a place called Coastal G Clay. It's run by Rick Forschino, and he photographs all my artwork to be able to post on my website, be able to submit to magazines, or also be able to post on my Instagram. He also does G Clay prints. So if you're trying to sell a product online or trying to sell something that is a little bit more affordable to people, paintings can be very expensive. Not everyone has $100, $200, $300, $1,000, $5,000, whatever it may be. But being able to own a piece of yours that's a little bit more approachable price, like a G Clay fine art print, it's a great way for people to start collecting without having to invest tons of money. So I guess one of the big things I really want to focus on today is having creatives think differently, and not just as a creative, but also as a strategist. As the owner of your own business, you're in charge of the marketing side of things and the organizing side of things, and how to properly package and ship your art pieces out there. You have to be able to, like Scott said, be able to have access to a website that you can then talk to people directly. So being able to collect emails or be able to respond to questions that they have about inquiries regarding purchasing pieces. Depending on the website that you may have, some of them have online stores. And so if you have an online store platform, you can actually have people swipe their credit card and put in all their information. And so the shipping costs will have to be included. You have to know what shipping costs, what shipping materials to have in your own studio. You need to know, where it's going and what the dimensions of those pieces are. So learning how to properly package a painting and ship it directly yourself, that's something that as an artist you need to learn if you want to start selling your stuff online. In many cases, galleries, if you go through a gallery space, the reason why that's a benefit is because they have access to a collector space. They have access to people from all over around the world who are, continuously purchasing from that gallery. The reason why they're able to send out these email newsletters is because they send it out to people that have been purchasing from them before. And so as an artist in their gallery, you now have access to their collector's base. They market for you in many ways, but as a result, they take a 50% commission from every sale that you do. If you're the person who's not only the gallery owner of your own gallery and your own artwork, every time you make a sale, you don't have to give that 50% commission to the gallery space. That 50% commission is now in your pocket. What I suggest, or what I usually recommend, is that if you start thinking of yourself as a business owner, as someone who wants to improve, wants to grow, wants to reach more people, you have to start investing in yourself. And that means you have to start spending money on buying, proper equipment for photographing, videography, tripod, proper lighting to be able to capture your images, having a laptop that's reliable, having an iPhone with, apps on it so that you can connect with social media, constantly updating things online, using technology as a tool. And if you're using a platform like Instagram or using a platform like Facebook, you can actually do targeted ads to be able to reach people in the same state as you, in the same region as you, or you can even target people outside of the country. So I think right now I have a little bit over 100,000 followers on Instagram. The reason why I was able to do that was because I've been continuously investing money into targeted ads. A lot of people will spend money on magazines or spend money on, different websites to promote their own artwork, and they'll pay huge fees to be able to do that. I spend maybe about $400 to $500 a month on ads each month. And this is usually targeted to young audiences, people that can relate to the kind of work that I'm doing, people that maybe right now don't have money, but as they get older and get jobs and start making more money, they've been following me for many, many years. And once they have enough money, they're like, yes, now's the time to buy a Beau Frank original. Now's the time to buy a print for my apartment. Oh, I'd love to, get a new piece for my mom for Mother's Day or whatever it may be. The fact that I'm in their attention span, the fact that I'm continuously posting on a regular basis and staying relevant to these people through social media, they're now able to see me as someone that they admire, someone that they appreciate, someone that they would like to support as well. And I think being able to share content online, especially on social media, on my website or in blog form, people really start to get to know you on a more personal level. They get to see you on good days and bad days. They get to see the progress of how you develop your craft and your work. They start seeing your successes and some of your failures. It's all very transparent, but I think having that honesty really makes people appreciate what you do. To focus back on selling online, giving people different options for buying really is able to target different audiences. I would say the audience that primarily follows me is very young, but I also do have people that are more in the luxury audience. Because I feature in galleries that do have people that have quite a bit of money, people that own houses, own multiple properties, or own businesses, they're able to buy paintings for $4,000 to $10,000. But I would say 99% of the people that follow me have minimum wage jobs, work 2 jobs maybe, and so they're not able to purchase my large originals. As a result, I had to pivot. I had to think differently. I had to think outside the box and think about how can I reach a much younger audience, or how can I reach people that don't necessarily have huge amounts of money to spend. My way of doing that was introducing an auction basis form through Instagram. I created a Instagram profile called 6x6 Auction. I would sell these 6-inch by 6-inch paintings on wood panels, and I'd post it on Instagram, and I'd say in 24 hours, I'll close the bidding and allow the highest bidder to get the piece. And so some pieces would go for $90, some pieces would go for $250, $300. Every piece was different. Every piece was dictated by the audience. I had no control over that. But because it was such a small piece, there's very low stakes at it. If I didn't make a lot of money on it, it was fine. But if I did make a lot, it was great. The great thing about creating an auction system was because no matter what happens after 24 hours, I walk away with money in my pocket. So while I'm doing other things that are maybe long-term projects that don't necessarily give me money right away, I can continue to buy groceries. I can continue to buy gas. I can still make money on a weekly basis in between large pieces being sold. Another way that I decided to pivot was to start diversifying my online portfolio, start diversifying my online store. I started selling an ebook that was art related for people that want to grow their audience on Instagram. I started selling merchandise like patches and stickers and things like that. I started selling prints as well of different pieces that had maybe sold, where it's like, oh, I love this painting, I wanted to buy it, but I now have access to this print. Just giving people different options to own an original piece from you, or own something that was passed through your hands, something that was made with love still. People will definitely be interested in that. Let's see, I'm on a bit of a rant. Let's see. So for creatives, right now is such an interesting time. I don't know about any of you, but for me at least, COVID has been quite difficult. The first few months were marvelous. I was like, as an artist and an introvert, I have all the time in the world. I was extremely productive. I made tons of sales. People were actually really supportive and kind with my art. And then after about 2 months, I was like, I haven't left the house. I haven't seen daylight. And so I hit a bit of an art block. So even though it's important to stay creative and to, try and make an effort to make art throughout this quarantine, knowing when to take a break and step away and just be kind to yourself and allow yourself to do other things that are maybe non-art related. Sometimes those non-art related things end up inspiring us and allowing us to have ideas that we can then turn and redirect into our art. So just hang in there during this COVID.
Well, Beau, I think we want to show your website also.
Oh, sure.
Eric's going to pop that up for us. And you can just walk us through a little bit. Here we go.
Yeah, so I started pursuing art really full-heartedly, I'd say about 5 years ago. I found out that art was actually something that I really loved and wanted to pursue as a career. But because art was very finicky in the beginning, because I didn't have a following, I decided to still keep a full-time job while painting. So all these paintings were essentially made while having a full-time job. It's only been since August of last year that I finally quit my job and started pursuing art full-heartedly, and just going 100% with my art. And so far I've been seeing quite a bit of success, but because of COVID, because of different things, I've had to pivot, I've had to try new things, I've had to get very creative and adapt to any changes that may happen. So yeah, these are just some of the series that I've been doing. Solitude is one that I did recently. Off the Grid is a series of portraits with landscapes, and that's a series that I primarily showcase in Australia at 19 Karen. If you scroll a little bit down, the ones on the left, landscapes and seascapes, those are the ones that I primarily feature at Post Ranch Inn. And then Las Mascarilleras on the right-hand side, that's a series that was commissioned by Cultura, which is in Carmel. It's a Oaxacan-inspired restaurant. They commissioned 6 paintings from me. And that was when I just first started as an artist. So it was really cool to get a commission. To focus on sales, I'm using Squarespace, and this is a great platform that I recommend for selling art online. I tried different types of platforms, and I found that this one was the most streamlined, the easiest to edit. They had tons of templates that were just clean and classy. And I found that their back end of things like editing, shipping, taxes, and acquiring email newsletters, those were really good. It's a really great platform for that. To be able to ship my work or ship my products online, I connected to Shipstation, which is a platform that basically sends all the information from my website to them, so that every time you sell something and have to ship it off, it's all automated. It's all on the website. I click a label printer, it prints out, and I stick it to my package, and I drop it off at the post office. I don't have to wait in line for people to. I don't have to wait in line and then go to the post office attendant and have them fill out all the information by hand. Everything's already on the computer, and so it just saves me so much time, especially during quarantine when there's 6 feet apart and you don't want to be inside closed spaces. I would literally just go in and drop off all my packages on the side, and I wouldn't have to wait in line. If you wouldn't mind clicking on my Instagram, it's the far right one. That's it. So I started sharing my work on Instagram about 5 years ago. I realized that this was a platform where I could really start connecting with different audiences from around the world. 6x6 Auction is the Instagram platform that I use as well for showcasing auction pieces. I have a curated art one, which is Honest at Work, and then I have a personal page as well. This is where I get most of my traffic, and this is where I direct all my traffic to my website. So I'd say like right now, I am probably making about 75% of my income from my own personal website and my own personal page. Either people connect to me through my direct messages. They send me a message and say, hey, I'm interested in this piece. And I let them know the price after taxes and shipping. And they decide whether or not they want to buy. If they decide they want to buy through Instagram, I usually have them pay for it through a PayPal invoice. Otherwise, I go through Venmo, which is a really great application you can download. The great thing about Venmo is that they take no percentage of the transaction fee. So if people give you money for that, there's no percentage that goes to the company. If you go through PayPal, there is a percentage that goes to PayPal. So if you sell a piece for like $100, they might take $5 or $6. If you're selling a piece for $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, you might see a couple $100 disappear. So having Venmo instead of PayPal is actually much more efficient and saving you money. And I highly recommend it. For having a website that's very nicely organized, this is the first introduction to who you are and what you're capable of doing. giving people an option to peruse what it is you're all about, who you are, even talk about yourself, give people an inside look into what you like doing, what you like focusing your attention on. People don't always buy things just because of the painting. They also buy because of the artist. If they're, something about you that they feel connected with, if they feel like they're supporting local, if they feel like they're supporting someone who has similar mindsets as them, who has similar values as them, people really like to get to know who you are and what you're really focused on. So having a professional website that's attractive and pleasing to the eye, easy to navigate, easy to understand, and also easy to purchase from. A lot of people want to buy from you, but then they don't know how to do that, or they feel uncomfortable. Some people choose not to showcase the prices of their work, and I think that's an old school way. If people want to buy something, they deserve to know how much they're going to be spending on it. And so giving them full transparency on cost of everything is a great way to have that trust with a customer. So this is like my online store for pieces that have been sold. I only started selling originals on my website this year. So all the ones that you see that are sold out were sold this year specifically. The ones that are not sold yet are either currently in my studio or currently being showcased in various spaces. I'm happy to work with galleries and combine forces. So I'm not suggesting that it's not a good idea to sell through galleries, even though they take a 50% commissions. I think galleries do a great service to artists. They showcase the work in the best kind of light, which is usually a blank wall. It emulates that feeling of having a piece in their own home or in a business or an office space. So working with galleries is a great way to get your work out there to reach a different market that you personally can connect with. But I'd say using both the gallery system as well as your own resources, as long as your own website or your Instagram or your own platforms, it's a great way to cover as much ground as possible, try out as many different systems as possible, and just see how far you can take your art. Art can be just a hobby, art can be a side hustle, art can be one of your jobs, or it can be your career or your vocation. Depending on what you want that to be, you have to design that. And so applying a design mentality to your business is a great way to be innovative and strategic. It's been a wild ride. I'm still learning each and every day. I'm still trying to see what other people are doing to get ideas for my own business. And so hopefully something that I said resonated, and I hope it was helpful.
Thank you, Beau. Appreciate that. We had one question just came through directed to you. Do you use a specific platform for the auction?
I use Instagram and I put it in the comment section. So what I usually do is I say at this time tomorrow, the auction will be closed, and the last person to put in their offer at the designated time will win the auction, and so it'll be closed after that point. From there, I'll reach out to them through direct message, and that way I can get their information and know how much the shipping costs, if it's international or domestic. I'll let them know this is the cost after taxes, after shipping, and if they want to proceed. And if they say yes, then the auction is finally closed, and then I send them an invoice, they pay for it, and I ship it the next day or as soon as I can. I used to have a website. Actually, I have the website called 6x6 Auction. I own that. I paid for it through WordPress. But the thing is that I couldn't drive enough traffic to the auction page for people to want to log in and have to put in all their information and then place bids throughout the day. Having a platform like Instagram that people are constantly checking, constantly looking back at, constantly wanting to see if something's happening or if there's new things. People are definitely much more present on my Instagram. And so I decided to keep my auctions on that Instagram page.
Okay, well, we have a couple more questions here. What kind of encouragement would you offer to artists who are exploring new ways to share their art online?
Is this for me or for Scott?
We'll let you start, Beau, and then Scott can pick up.
Encouragement. So in many ways, when I think about what kind of advice I want to give, and if I even come from a place where I can give advice, is I usually think back to how I was feeling at the beginning of my journey when I was just starting out, where I felt like a total beginner, where I felt really lost and confused, where I didn't really have a sense of direction. And I'd say in the beginning, it's all about just learning how to navigate the craft, learning how to try out different styles, different themes, really build off your successes and sees what works for you and what doesn't. Learning how to switch over to selling is a bit of a jump, but if you start now, everything that you learn from, every mistake that you make is something you can learn from, and then you can take it to the next thing. So I'd say definitely focusing your attention on sharing, on documenting your process, on getting involved with others and in the community, making art more prevalent in your life to make it more of a center focus instead of just a side thing. A big question I asked myself that really got me to focus on art was I realized that I'm a really hard worker and I work really well for people. I work really hard for my boss and I do my best to make the business as profitable as possible. And I asked myself the question, what if I put all that energy, all that hard work, all that attention, love, and devotion, and I actually invested that in myself? And so that's when I really started taking my art to the next level, really started to see more successes and make more sales and have art be much more prevalent and also profitable in my life.
Thank you. Scott, how about you? You're on mute still. There we go.
Hi. What was the question?
What encouragement would you offer to other artists exploring new ways to share their art online?
Just go for it. That would be my advice. Is go for it. It's funny. I don't know. I remember when Facebook was starting out, and I made my profile, and a few years ago when I started my profile for Instagram, and just throwing up the photo and of whatever work I have, like good or bad, quality, what the image, whatever, and just put it up there and see what happens. And I don't know, there's the whole like thing, and you can like paintings and get likes and like it and all that. And I don't, it's paintings can be a different world in person, and I never know what's going to happen. Some of my highest selling works, got like 3 hits or something on Facebook. So that's something I wouldn't be concerned about if you're just starting out. We're artists and we're expressing ourselves, and I don't know, I paint like old fish markets and Bill Murray, and somehow it works out. So you just go for it.
Right. So it's a lot of work creating an online art gallery. What platform would you recommend for emerging artists to start with? Why don't we go with you first, Scott?
Sure. I personally like Facebook the best, and I believe Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same folks, and so they kind of they connect. And but I would say Facebook because it's more personal, and so a lot of my friends / collectors that I oftentimes meet in my studio gallery, we'll become friends on Facebook or Instagram, and then we'll stay connected there. And I post my work, and every so often I'll just I'll get a text saying, hey, I want that painting that you just posted. And so it provides a venue to that's a little bit more connected than just I guess somebody visiting a website from Germany or something.
Yeah. How about you, Beau?
So I'm a huge advocate of Squarespace just because I'm obsessed with their layout. I tried different platforms and I didn't like the quality of the image on those platforms. Some were like more blog focused, and some were just not very fast at loading. And so when I found Squarespace, there was tons of templates, and the one that I found was like, yes, you my boo. That's the one that I want. And then I definitely am a huge advocate on using Instagram. I know the platform can be exhausting sometimes because there's just so much happening. But I'd say I try to limit who I follow or what kind of content I put into my space. So a lot of the people that I follow are usually galleries or artists. I'd say about 70% of the people that I follow are galleries or artists. This makes it so that I'm still keeping up with what other people are doing, still staying relevant in that space, And depending on what style you're focusing on, you can definitely curate your Instagram or the people that you follow to be something that inspires you or gets you wanting to paint more and be more of an artist. But I'd say, yeah, Instagram is my favorite platform, but I also use YouTube. I think introducing something like video can definitely delve deeper into subjects. So on YouTube, I do a lot of videos on what it's like to be an emerging artist. I talk about kind of the behind the scenes things and also some of my approaches to how I do the work that I do and how I share the work that I do.
And I believe Squarespace is a free platform, correct?
Squarespace is not a free platform.
It's not. Oh, okay.
So Squarespace was an investment for me. I think I spend about $400 a year for the website to keep it running. The reason I did that, I switched over from having like a big cartel account, which was also an online selling platform. I didn't like that you didn't have as much control over the layout or over what kind of information you share. I thought that if I was going to take this seriously and treat it like a business, I would want to use something that is appropriate for that. Having investments and things like that can be written off as a tax deduction so that you're, reduced in how much you get taxed at the end of the year. Anything that you spend towards your business, if you treat it like a business, can be marked off as a tax write-off at the end of the year.
And can you mention again the name of the shipping company that you use?
Yeah, so that's a new platform I just recently started using about 5 or 6 months ago, and I'm so glad I did that. It saved me probably hundreds of hours. I'm not even kidding you. So I use Squarespace and I connect my Squarespace to Shipstation. And so Shipstation is a platform just for shipping, but it takes all of the orders that are made through your website and sends it to Shipstation. And then from there, you just have to put in what kind of shipping method you want to do. If you want to do like overnight, or if you want to do the cheapest, most economical way. And because of that, it prints out the labels and I put it on my package and I just drop it off at the post office. I don't have to wait in line. I don't have them fill out all the information on who the person is. I don't have to handwrite any mailing labels or customs information. It's just all done automatically.
Great, thank you. How about you, Scott? Do you have a shipping platform you use? He's mute still.
Yeah, I ship in person, or I bring my paintings in person, and so I use Carmel Office Supply and Shipping, and I love those guys. It's Al and Natalie are the owners, and I don't know, it's just fun talking to them when I bring the works in, and right now I'm batting 1,000 with safety, and all my paintings have made it out safely over the last, I think, 8 years I've been working with them, so definitely recommend them on Lincoln and Carmel.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think we're just about at the end of our presentation today. You might have noticed that we had a little poll that popped up, and the results showing that it looks like 87% are sharing their art on social media, and Facebook and Instagram tie at 67%. So it's great to see that other artists are using social media to promote their art. So I want to thank Scott and Beau for joining us today, and also all our participants who joined us during this live Zoom call. I hope the information that was provided was useful to you and helps you decide how to move forward with selling your own art online. So we also have the Arts Council wants to show our website also, which I think Aaron's going to pop up, because we're really pleased to announce that we just launched our own online art gallery, Art for Sale, which is supporting local emerging artists. And these are our artists that are at our Artworks at Pacific Grove program in the American Tin Cannery. And so because it's closed, we obviously can't have visitors or customers there. So we created an online gallery for them, and we just launched that today. So you can check it out at our website at artsformc.org. And again, thank you all for joining us today, and have a great weekend.